Hi, this is Oliver Lucanus from Below Water. Today I want to have a look at breeding Andinoacara, the terror cichlids. They are one of the easiest cichlids to breed for beginners. Andinoacara has 8 species distributed along the Andes, and we are going to look at the green terror today, Andinocara Stalsbergi. Here's a rough map of where they're found. Andinocara blombergi and sapayensis have not been exported at all, in part because there are no exports from that area, but also because it's one of the most unsafe regions of South America. The conditions are the same for most of them, but I would say Andinocara, Stalsbergi, blombergi, and rivulatus will need bigger tanks of 75 to 90 gallons for breeding. The other species can breed in a 33 or 40 gallon tank. The water conditions don't matter much, but it should be not too hot. The aquarium here is 25 Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit, pH 7.5 and medium hard water. Weekly water changes of 50 to 70%. The tank should have some large rocks to break up the vision of the male. Then I hide some PVC pipe in the back under the rocks so the females have some places to get away from the male. Find some brown or gray rocks so the fish are the brightest color in the tank. In the front of the tank there are some rocks of medium size, like a cigarette pack down to a lighter size. They make a little rubble field, then cover the whole thing in sand, with just a bit of the rocks sticking out. Next we will need a distraction. This can be virtually any fish that is not aggressive and can take a beating for some time. So the terror cichlids have an enemy instead of each other. I used Lebiasina bimaculata here because that is a fish that occurs in nature with Andinocara stalsbergi. You could use large danios, some silver dollars, a couple of leporinis, or even medium-sized barbs. These fish are here only to focus the attention of the male on defending the territory, so choose something that is always in motion. Next is a group of Andinocara. They are really easy to sex. The males are always larger, have somewhat longer fins. The females of all the species turn almost black when they get in breeding color and the egg-laying tube begins to stick out. It's best to choose one male and 2 or 3 females, but you can also just start with a group of 6 to 8 fish and remove the other fish later. Whenever you remove fish, do this at night with a flashlight. It's much easier. It is the females that initiate breeding. You will first see that she starts to dig around those buried stones. When a male passes by, she will rock her head facing downwards and show her belly. Usually she will get very dark at this stage. The males may completely ignore the female or try to bite her, and if she goes to hide, it will be some more days. If she stands her ground, you are getting close. The female will eventually select one rock. Normally that rock is about large enough to be fully covered by the spawn on one side. So if your pair is larger, it will need to be bigger, which is why I suggested those different sizes in the beginning. This pair is still really young and small, and she chose this rock right in front. I have turned it around later so it is easier to see the spawning act. The fish are now too focused to be disturbed by that intervention. Spawning will typically take around 1 hour. You can see the female laying the eggs on one face of the rock. The male keeps all the other fish away and visits on occasion to fertilize a batch of eggs. When spawning is completed, it is time for the dither fish to come out. If your chosen species is a leporinis, you'll be cursing now because they are so hard to catch. Lebiasina swim into the net as long as there's food in it, so they are the perfect choice. If you have more than 3 cichlids, I would remove them also. I do like to leave one fish, in this case another female, so the male has a clear objective of keeping the territory safe. After spawning, the female has several jobs. She has to fan oxygen-rich water over the eggs, keep debris off them, and she now starts an extensive excavation program. Sometimes the male helps with this. They will dig up to 40 small golf ball sized pits and expose all those rocks we buried earlier. For one, this would confuse predators where the larvae are hidden, but it also traps potential food for the larvae. On day 3, the eggs hatch. The female may help to chew them out of the eggs and spit them into one of the pits. They cannot swim yet, so they are just this wiggling mass of tiny dots. The female has now lost all color, and she will become hyper-vigilant about keeping any fish out of this area. The male is patrolling the perimeter. Depending on the temperature, usually on day 7 the larvae start to swim. At first, in this clustering stage that has the larvae in a tight ball the size of a golf ball. Easy job, and the male is now more involved, at times taking over for the female. This tight cluster begins to break open in the swimming stage after about 12 hours. Now the fry need to be fed. If you're in a bare tank, it's essential to feed the fry some crushed flake, decapsulated brine shrimp, or micro pellets. If your tank is set up like this, the fry can just forage on the substrate and you can feed less. If you want to raise all the fry, I would suggest to siphon most of the babies out and raise them separately. Don't take them all because that will lead to a huge fight among the parents and a fish could get damaged. You can safely take about 3/4 of them. Other fish, including the extra female I left in this large aquarium, will on occasion snatch some of the babies. You can tell by the reaction from the male when she tries. At this stage, when the fry begin to form an increasingly large plume, they become more difficult to keep together and their numbers start to go down. If you have not taken any babies out for raising them separately, now would be the best time. With frequent water changes and good conditions, this generation will start to breed in around 8 to 10 months when the females reach a size of around 2 inches or 5 centimeters. Here are some of the other Andinoacara. My favorite is biseriata. This is the only species with an overall metallic gold color. It is also very small and certainly the least aggressive of all the species. This is a pair of breeding Andinoacara latifrons, wild fish that are breeding in a 30-inch or 70 centimeter long aquarium just 2 weeks after their arrival. You can see just how prolific these cichlids can be. This pair has hundreds of young and the aquarium is very small. In place of adding a dither fish, I have a large heros in the aquarium next to it. At times it'll approach the glass and that gives the Andinoacara male something to do. I hope this helps some of you with breeding these easy cichlids. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and share this video where possible.